Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Empire Let's Play series. There's an Enderman in my map library. Well, I'll take that, and I'm going to use it to make an ender chest. One of those, and one of those. Incredible. This is really going to come in handy as we start to work on some of these new projects. And speaking of projects, the first one we're going to do today is we're going to build a mob farm. And I think we're going to do it somewhere down here in the ocean below the Southland. So first thing we're going to do is get in a boat, expose some maps, and check the area out, and find a place to build it. One other thing I want to think about while we are tooling around here is our next big project, which is going to be a storage facility. And I want to think about how can we make a big storage facility and maybe utilize redstone. It's been a while since I've done any sort of like automated sorting or storage system. So if you have ideas or builds that you've seen that you liked, leave me a comment so I can check them out. All right, we are off the map. Go ahead and expose this. Awesome. Well, after a fair bit of exploration, I found a spot out near an ocean monument. And the ocean monument is interesting because if we decide we eventually want to do any work over there, then we would be close enough to kind of load both locations. So I think we're going to head over there and build us a mob farm. start. I've got 3 levels in here, and I finally got the redstone laid out. I did this about 10 times, kind of rearranging things, trying to make sure it could reach everything I wanted it to reach. So this little stack of redstone here fires the dispensers on this side, and then this little stack over here fires the dispensers on this side. And what I've got going on here is a little etho hopper clock. So there are items running back and forth in this hopper, and every time this hopper empties, it switches sides, which pushes the block over here, sends a signal. Got a piston with some sand on it, so it cuts the signal real short, and that short signal comes out here and hits each of those dispensers. It also goes through all of these repeaters and then hits the dispensers again. So what you get is a turn it on, and then this will come around and turn it off. That way we've got plenty of time for things to spawn on the platforms, and then a nice short flush so we can sweep everything off of those platforms down the chute. Speaking of down the chute, there's a couple things I noticed when I was up here. Somewhere over here, you can see glow squid occasionally. One of these caves over here will like light up because there's so many glow squid in it. Noticed it a couple different times when I was building. So we might need to maybe poke around a little bit in these caves and see if we can get some glow ink. We've gotten just a little bit. We haven't come up with a really great source of glow ink yet. Occasionally over here you can hear the monument and hear the guardians shooting their beams. There's one right there. Glow squid. Let's go investigate that. Way down here. There is some magma, so we could potentially breathe. A couple of them. Well, it's not cute, but it is somewhat functional. Still need to do a little bit of like decorating. You know, this sort of like single pillar underneath looks awful. It's all just stone, so it's real flat. I hung out down here for a little bit and found that not a lot happened. When I get up above the farm, I'm far enough away that the mobs will spawn, and I'm also far enough away from the ground that we're not getting mobs spawning underground. We want all of our mobs. More glow squid down there. We want all our mobs to spawn in the farm. And I just have a little space up here that has a bed and a roof on it. And that way we don't get attacked by phantoms. We're plenty high enough so that things can spawn inside. And then underground, like I said, we're far enough away that we're not going to get a lot of underground spawns. And so just kind of AFKing up here will give us some different drops. I went ahead and did a 30-minute AFK session just to see what we'll get out of this thing. And let's see, how do I get down? This side? Yeah, let's try that side. I think if I make a run, kind of come right off of there. Yeah. Okay, got a fair amount of stuff in there. Some bones, some gunpowder. Those are the things I was most interested in. Arrows, we can definitely use those. So yeah, it's not especially fast or overpowered, but I think this is going to be functional for our needs. And you know, a happy side effect of this farm is the whole glow squid situation. I am up high enough that I render the caves, and so we get glow squids spawning, and if I jump down and grab them, seems to be a pretty good source of glow squid ink. Oh, isn't that interesting? Right there, we've got our ocean monument. And right under the ocean, there's a trial chamber. Wonder if I can get in there. Ooh, I don't want to spawn anything. I see a spidery looking situation down here. Yep. Oop, I did it. Of course they're poisonous. All right. There's a key, but if I go and get that key, we're going to spawn more spiders. So I'm not going to do that. Well, we'll have to come out and explore that at some point. I think the next thing we're going to do is head back to the map library and then talk a little bit about the desert. So here are the new maps that we exposed. So Southland is right down here. We have this nice big ocean. Right there, you can kind of see where that ocean monument was. And then here is our mob farm that we built out in the middle of the ocean. And then somewhere in here is where that trial chamber was. And I was thinking that might be a good location for a portal, because getting to the bottom of the ocean to get into a trial chamber might be a little tricky. And so then potentially we would have a portal up here, a portal at the bottom of the ocean, and then a portal somewhere over here in the desert. And I think that's the next thing I want to do, is I want to go across the bridge, just knock a tunnel through this little hill here, and then kind of see what's going on in this neck of the woods. I've been bad about the live streaming the last couple of weeks just because I've been out of town on and off. I went to New York for a little bit, and then I went to Astoria for a little bit. So we'll get back on track soon enough and get a lot more work done on these roads and tunnels here. So this bridge comes along and just sort of runs into the side of this hill here. And what I want to do is just kind of punch a hole through this hill and get to the desert. Quick progress update. You can see here we've got a little bit of a start. Tunnel starts in, and right about here, I decided to take it at a little less severe of an angle. We were doing a perfect diagonal, and I went to slightly less severe diagonal. And the reason is, if you look at the map, instead of going straight across like this, I wanted to kind of come out in that mesa looking area down there. So I'm just going to keep digging along at this angle and see how it goes. Progress update number 2. Tunnel's getting much, much longer. And there's a couple of interesting things. So right here, we intersect with pretty significant ravine. And you can see down there, we've got a mine shaft and a little bit of like a lush cave down there. And then as we head down, we start to intersect with the mesa and again, some caves and things like that. So right here, and man, those sandy sounds really mess with me. That sizzly sound just sounds exactly like a creeper. So yeah, I can see gold. Obviously I can see terracotta. So we are getting really close. A lot of these cave intersections we can either explore or we could just kind of cover them over. We'll see how things go. And we made it. So still need to do the floor in here, the walls. lighted up, all of that. So once we get down here, lots of monsters that I hear. We get to this terracotta section, some caves and things that we intersect here. And then we kind of straighten out again. And as you can see, we finally bump into the sand and sandstone. And man, these noises freak me out. All those little crackly, sandy sounds like creepers. Let's see what we got going on here. Well, we're here. We made our way through this whole terracotta mountain here. Pretty interesting. And then we come out into the desert. And we will make our way across the desert to that village way over there. There's still a ton of work to do. And yeah, the map is looking real good. So I think between episodes, I'm going to heal up our tools because they took quite a beating. And I'm going to do a little bit of AFK over at the new mob farm. And I think next episode, we'll get started exploring the desert. And that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. If you want to be like these folks and help support the channel, scan the code on the screen or click join down below. And thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.